Everybody, it's 7 o'clock. I'll call to order the regular meeting of the Clarkston Community Schools Board of Education. If you would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Allen, could you please call the roll?
Mrs. Crane? Here. Mr. Heyer?
Here.
Mrs. Love?
Here.
Mrs. McGinnis?
Here.
Mr. Need?
Here.
Mrs. Cyrus? Here. Mrs. Egan?
We have 6 members present. We have a quorum. Mrs. Egan sends her best wishes. She is out of town tonight and unable to join us. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a community public hearing. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in agenda items 3 and 9. Item 2 is approval of the consent agenda. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education approves the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion's made and supported. One of the items on the consent agenda requires a roll call vote. So, Mrs. Allen, could you again please call the roll?
Mrs. Crane?
Yes.
Mr. Heyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Love?
Yes.
Mrs. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Need?
Yes.
Mrs. Cyrus? Yes. Mrs. Egan?
Motion carried. Thank you. Item 3 is citizens' request to address the board. As I mentioned a moment ago, you are given 2 opportunities to address the board. Under this item, item 3.1, you can request to address the board on any topic that is on tonight's agenda. Then under item 9, you're welcome to address the board on any topic. When making comments, please state your name and address. Direct your comments here to the board president. Each person may speak for up to 2 minutes. And per our established board procedures, the board will not respond to questions or interact during public comment. I think, Mrs. Mahoney, did you look at the sign-in sheet? Okay, there are no citizens who are requesting to address the board on agenda topics. And again, you'll have an opportunity under Agenda 9 to address the board on any topic. Item 4 is superintendent update. Dr. Ryan.
Thank you. First of all, as you see over here on our right, this evening we have Ms. Kelly Allen, who's going to be doing the post of the board secretary. Heidi McLean had an accident and hurt her leg and had to have it fixed earlier, but is doing well. We'll be back on the attack. But if there's any kind of slow or anything with any of our production tonight, where our chief production coordinator is out, and we're doing our best to kind of keep all the pages together. So as far as going on in the school district, I'm excited because I'm looking across the crowd tonight and I see that, if you didn't notice, the CHS drone team is here, and notoriety, we get to hear some great stories of their successes of really taking the pride of Clarkston across this country, which I'm so excited to hear tonight and be able to share with our community. And also this evening, some of the members who had reached out to me over the last couple weeks not only share their victories, but also share appreciation for some of the snow days that we had, and they told me that I was promoted to king. I appreciate the promotion. Not sure with my colleagues up here if it comes with any type of pay raise, but I was also told that today that because there was no snow day after the Super Bowl that I was being demoted. It was unclear of what the new standing would be, but I'll leave it to the fine staff students, really the students at Clarkston High School, that kind of keep it in front. So thank you for that. Also, as far as an update, tonight we have our CSM Tech crew here. I know that was really big for our community and our board over the last year and a half as we've looked to really put a lot of energy into keeping that program strong. And that team is fresh back from California, envisioning High Tech High and seeing a whole lot of amazing pieces of the puzzle that they're going to share with us this evening as well. So all in all is well right now in Clarkston Schools. To our community, I continue to thank you for support and as we continue to look as we push forward. Thank you, President Eden.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan. Item 5, we have a series of presentation items. Item 5.1 is the recognition of the Clarkston Unified Basketball Team. And at this time, I would ask Mr. Glenn Galtieri to please come up and help with this presentation with his team.
There we go. Good evening, and thank you for taking the time to recognize the 2024 Unified Basketball Team. I'm Glenn Galtieri, one of the coaches, along with Eleanor Constable, and we would like to introduce, and we are honored to represent, Sebastian Trikowski, Natalie Molina, Gavin Lumetta, Ryan Greenlee, Lucas Fallett, Brady Kawila, Cameron Aiken, Andrew Biddick, Drake Detkowski, Isaac Kwan, Cassidy Kareen, Mackenzie McDaniel, Lena Richardson, Madeline Caldwell, Colton Minot, Wiley Gibbs, and Patrick Grutka, members of our team this year. We are currently have played 6 games, and we have won them all. We're very excited about that. Yes. We have 3 more games on our schedule, as well as an end-of-the-year tournament on March 9th that we're looking forward to as well. And on behalf of our team, we have a few teammates that would like to speak. First, we have Lucas Fallett.
Hello there. My name is Lucas Fallett. I'm a junior this year, and this is my first year in the Unified Basketball Team. Being on the team has taught me how to really play in a team and how all of us serve the whole by each being a part. My favorite part about this team is when we're playing on the court, when our teamwork really shines through all. Our team is currently undefeated, which just shows how good we are on the court. We have got 2 more home games on Thursday at 5:30 and on February 23rd at 6:30, which happens to be a Friday. And we have 1 more away game in Lake Orion tomorrow. If they're interested in the speech, then you're definitely interested enough to watch our games. And to wrap it up, I will say thanks to everyone who played a part in this team, whether student or teacher. Thank you.
And also to share a few words about their experience of playing on the team is Madeline Caldwell.
Hi, my name is Madeline Caldwell, and I have been a member of the Unified Basketball Team for the past 2 years. It has been so amazing being a part of this team, and I am so grateful for all of the cool experiences it has brought me. The bonds and friendships that I have made through this team mean so much to me, and all of our inside jokes never fail to make me laugh. Although I might not be the best basketball player, I feel that we have all definitely improved a lot over the past year, and I'm proud to say that we are currently undefeated this season. Both Mrs. Constable and Mr. Galtieri have been such great coaches and role models for all of us these past years, and we certainly wouldn't have been able to be this great without them. This is my last unified season, as me and several other of my teammates will be graduating soon, but I'm sure that we can all agree that being a part of this team was one of the best parts of our high school experience. Thank you.
Again, thank you for the recognition. We appreciate your time, and have a great evening. Thank you.
For anybody that's never attended one, these games are just awesome. You will have a great time. The joy that these guys and girls have playing the support, it is really a great experience. You know, athletics, a lot of people know I'm a huge supporter of athletics and what they can do for all our kids, and having opportunities for everyone to play, you know, is just spectacular. Thank you, Glenn, and thank you, team.
And also, I want to add a couple things to that. Noticing we have some gift bags in a moment. I'll have you guys come back up. We'd all like to shake hands, slap you some high fives, and give you a little piece of recognition for all your efforts. And I think not only are we impressed by what you guys have done on the court, but looking at the sportsmanship that you guys have shown and the hard work you've had to prepare for every one of your games. I think everybody in the audience should know this is a team that really shows some grit and has a tremendous, not only an undefeated track record for this season, but has really brought pride to Clarkston Schools and our entire community. So thank you guys. If you guys don't mind, if you could come back up, do a quick line across the front. We want to give you something to go away with tonight. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you just hand them out? No, you just give it to them as they come to you.
And while we're doing this, we have another player, Sebi, that wants to say a few words. He's feeling the urge.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Great.
Thank you for supporting us this year. We had a great time this year. This year was my first time playing on the Unified team. It was very fun. I had a lot of great teammates that played on last year, and this was my first year playing. So, thank you guys for having us here, and go Wolves!
Yeah.
Great job. Great speech.
Yes, you deserve it.
Great job.
Congrats.
Go get them. Nice
How
job.
you doing?
Great work. Nice job. Great work.
Very much.
Great speech.
job.
Thank you.
Great speech.
Thank you for all you do. Are we good down there? Where is it?
It's in Sean Ryan's garbage.
Let me get a spoon.
Thank you, guys.
Amanda.
Thank you again, everybody, for coming out tonight. That was spectacular. We have a lot of great presentations tonight. That one will be tough to follow, but I'm pretty sure this next group will be able to do that. Item 5.2, recognition of the CHS drone team, and I would ask Kyle Hughes to come up. And, oh, there she is.
Hi. I would like to invite the drum team to come on up, specifically Finn and Luke. The rest of you come on, follow up, and let's put our stuff up on the ground so they can see. I'm going to turn this over to those that know more about it than, I do, I was there, but I want them to be the presenters, so here we go.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Finn Berard.
My name is Luke Jung.
My name is Sam DeKonik. I am Charlie DeKonik.
I'm AJ Edwards.
I'm Charles Goodrich.
I'm Kirsten Furness.
I'm Daniel Bradstreet.
And we are Team 27A, Team Rush with the AVR drones for Clarkston High School. This season, we were tasked with designing 4 different vehicles, including the main AVR drone, which you can see as the big one with the blue and yellow all over it. This drone was tasked with picking up and releasing water droplets, as well as targeting little targets on buildings with a laser. We were hoping to design this to be lightweight, and we accomplished our goal with this. As you can see by Daniel holding it up, we had an intake design on the bottom that utilized belts to bring in all the different balls throughout the system, and then it deposited them into the buildings by reversing that whole system. As for the Tello drone, this was tasked with dropping and picking up a parachute jumper, which unfortunately we did not bring with us tonight. But it would pick it up via a magnet on the bottom, and then after a timed period, it would release it after an autonomous flight into another building. The RVR, or the rover, was tasked with catching golf balls that were launched off of buildings. Then it would deliver them to safe zones, which were delivered to it by the Tello drone. And after that, it would drop them off, and that would be safe stranded people caught from the fire. Lastly, we had 3 Sphero Minis, which were little circle ball robots, and they were tasked with being ground firefighters who had to bump the stranded people or golf balls off the building and into the RVR.
This year we attended 2 different competitions. First, we went to the west side of the state over to Granville, Michigan for our qualifier event. There were 6 teams total at this facility. It was held at Granville Middle School. We won the first place award with a strong first place finish, as well as the best overall design award, which we were really proud of coming in as our 2nd season for the Advanced Vertical Robotics competition. After this, we traveled down to Hearst, Texas for the championship event. This took a lot of steps, which we'll talk about in a moment, but there were 14 teams from all across the nation, from Michigan, Texas, and the Virginia area. Here, we took a strong second place finish nationally and won the Best Overall Design Award, which was a national award that we were super proud of. In order to attend Hearst, Texas, it took a lot of amazing sponsors to get us there. All of the students you see here were tasked each to fundraise money in order for us to travel down as a team. We had to raise $10,000 in order to get 9 students and 3 adult mentors to fly down to Texas, stay at the hotel, and compete in the competition. And we are so thankful for all of our sponsors here. Thank you so much for listening and for supporting us through Clarkston Schools. If there's any questions, the students can answer them.
Sure, Mrs. Crane?
I would just like to know how long it took from nothing to the first competition.
So we started working in late August, early September. Our kickoff event where they revealed what the game we had to play was September? It was late September. So we worked from late September up until mid-January or late November, where our first competition was, and then the championship event was the first weekend of January.
When you say you're working on this, are we working nights, weekends? I mean, are you putting a lot, as much as I'm assuming it is?
Yep, a majority of our meetings at the beginning were held once every week on Wednesdays. Afterwards, it started going to 2 nights a week, then 3 nights a week, then 4, and I think we might have hit 5 somewhere in there, but the team here put a lot of hard work into it, and we're really proud of our results.
I want to mention something real quickly. Last year was our first year doing this, and we went in with an attitude of we're just going to learn about what's going on, and there were some problems in Michigan where the field didn't work right, so they invited the Michigan teams that competed to go down. We had not competed yet. We get down to the national championships, and we somehow pulled it all together, and they did their very best, and we won by 1 point. So we got to ride on a helicopter last year because that was the first place win. The team that took second, that I'm sure were not real happy that it was 1 point, they told me this year that they were inspired by us. And so they went back and they literally they won every category this year. So here's the group of teams, here's Team Rush, and then here's that other team. They came back and their inspiration was to knock it out of the ballpark, and they did. We don't feel badly about that at all. We know that the other 12 teams, we still ranked above all of them. So I'm very, very proud of these guys and can't believe what they can do in such a short time, really. And to watch the matches, it's very exciting because literally these buildings, lights go on, and all of a sudden there's fires here and fires here, and they're yelling out where they need to go. It's just a very exciting, dynamic competition.
Any other questions?
Anything else? Yeah, the Team Rush has always been, we've always taken tremendous pride at what you guys do and girls do. It's a ton of work, as Mrs. Crane asked and you indicated. You've been successful for a very long time. You are a real jewel for Clarkston, so thank you very much for all of your efforts, and to you, Mrs. Congratulations. Nice presentation here, too. You got it. Congratulations.
Great job. Go Blue.
Good work.
Great job. Great work. Congratulations. Great work. Great job. Congratulations.
Great work.
Congratulations.
Good job, as always.
Congratulations.
Thank you for all you do.
One more round.
I feel like I'm seeing double out there. It's like the old and the young.
Oh, Tommy. Yes.
The lady sitting with the dog is Kyle's daughter.
Yes.
Moving along, our third presentation is a presentation, an update on the CSM Tech program, and we'll ask Mrs. Mahoney to kick us off.
Good evening.
We are excited to speak to CSM Tech.
and renew CSM Tech. This year, our teachers have had some additional planning time. We hired a very vibrant new teacher to the team as well, which will be tonight. And we're excited to share our progress thus far. I think with the support that you've given, we've been allowed to dig deep into what is working and what really doesn't need our attention in terms of redesigning and renewing. So I'd like to begin tonight by introducing the CSM Tech District team. And so myself, Gary Call, Kelly Allen, and our Dean at the high school, Kelly Senison, are the administrative team that sit on the CSM District team. We have our teachers, Cal Hughes, Mike Olson, Jonathan Webster, and Courtney Hughes is our new hire. And we also have a counselor that sits in on with us, and that's Justin Fitnell. And so the entire group, we meet once a month, and we talk about what's been happening and what we're looking deeper into, as well as looking forward. Not only once a month, but then every other week, we have Kelly Senison and Justin Fitnell sit in on with our teachers, again, just to continue to collaborate and to guide, and then knowing that our teacher team meets daily. So lots of conversations, lots of research, lots to see what's out there. And so tonight, again, I'm just really proud and excited to present our progress so far. So I'd like to show a video that Kelly Allen worked closely with Matt and Bo just to bring a really strong, I think, marketing piece and excitement, and you'll hear the student voice here about what is CSM Tech.
CSM Tech is an amazing program for anyone to go into.
It's fun and it's hard, but it's definitely worth it.
The program is super valuable regardless of what you want to do later in life.
It's not just learning a formula and executing it. You get to make things that we wouldn't get to make in another math or science class. I melted things, I froze things, I burned things, learning how to use 3D printers and laser cutters to making videos and cutting vinyl. Where we make a chemical and we watch it.
CSM Tech is just a fun place to be.
It's really beneficial to be around people who care about you, especially the teachers. I feel that CSM Tech has prepared me for college. My advice would be definitely join.
It really changed my life.
All four of our teachers are going to present today, so I'm going to start with one of our senior colleagues who've been in CSM Tech a while, Mr. Mike Olson.
Thank you, Board, for this opportunity just to present to you tonight what we've been able to accomplish this year as far as planning to move the program forward and some things we've implemented already from what we've been able to do. Our agenda, just 4 items that we're going to elaborate on each as we move along. One is what we needed to do to get started. The other one was the accomplishments, the things that we've already done to change the program already. Some of those items that are still in progress and the things we want to look for moving forward in the next school year as well. I got the clicker. So as far as getting started, one of the first things we had to do is determine what direction we would go. So we started with doing research. We brought in stakeholders. We talked to students, we talked to counselors, we talked to some parents, collected a lot of data and said, what was good about the program? What are some things that might need to be changed? So we need to research those things. We went and looked at different STEM schools and some of the things they were doing, comparates, which we'll talk about a little later. Also, in order to guide our path forward, we developed a mission statement, which we'll see shortly as well. We want to improve upon the culture of CSM Tech. In the video, it mentioned how everyone felt it was a great environment to be able to learn in and comfortable to learn in. And we also, in doing all this, we collaborated with Sashwell Middle School, junior high, and high school counselors to look at how we can streamline the program as far as entrance and organizing the curriculum as well. We had the students elect peers that would represent them, kind of like their own, well, we call them class ambassadors is what we do. So they give us kind of the pulse of what the students' feelings are and how they think about different assignments and maybe how we do things and organize things. So we're able to get an idea and be able to work with them, and they feel they have a voice in the program as well. We've done multiple presentations at the junior high and the middle school in the classrooms with the students to let them know what CSM Tech is. One of the things we found in our research is not everyone knows what CSM Tech is, so we wanted to change that. So we went into the classrooms with that. We've also offered numerous presentations to the community and parents and students who are interested in the program in the evenings, and we started work on some of those promo videos, one of which you just saw when we came in. So I'd like to read with you the mission statement. It took us, we spent a lot of thoughtful time in doing this and took into account the district pillars as well. So it says, to provide a rigorous STEAM education that inspires teamwork, creativity, critical thinking, and engaging pursuit of real-world challenges while fostering a close-knit family atmosphere, equipping students with knowledge, nurturing passion and innovation, and preparing students leaders for a dynamic future. That's a mouthful, and that was best that we could trim it down there, and it includes everything that we wanted to. And Kyle will talk a little bit more. There you go. Sorry.
The CSM Tech culture is a treasured component of our program, and in fact, it's something that we want to maintain while we move forward. In doing that, we started the school year with the team building day. Normally, we would just have the students during their hours, we would do team building, and this past year, instead, we took all the students to the park, all 9th through 12th graders, so that the 9th graders got a chance to find out what was going on in the afternoon, and the afternoon students were available to talk and mentor the younger students, which was an amazing day. It was a very positive experience. And next year we even want to do more with impact statements and more things to celebrate. We also took the data that we got from and the input we got from our counselors when they talked with some of the students, and we noticed that our tech tools, our Rube Goldberg, seemed to need something, and so we took their input and we made some changes, and it became a wonderful celebration of technology and success, and that was a huge hit, again, mid-fall. We did try this year the alternative tech block of 2 hours versus 3 hours, and found that the 3 hours is what we need in order to fulfill all of the obligations that we want to give these students. This year we started building thinking classrooms and vertical learning, and we also started putting in our PBL, our project-based learning, for our students with protocols to give them to get the voice of all the students. And we also resurrected the parent organization to help us with additional needs and also to bring the community into our classrooms. After addressing the culture, we wanted to focus on our research. At the beginning of the year, Kelly Allen and Justin Fittennivel worked with focus groups of all of our students, every one of them, whether they were in the program or they left the program, and even talked to some alumni to get feedback. We also met with all the counselors at the junior high and at Sashabaw Middle School, and we had 3 virtual visits to Macomb Math and Science Center, the Battle Creek, and the Kalamazoo. When the interesting piece about meeting with all of those, they are all very different, but we found some of the common threads between all 3 of them are things that we have been doing, or we used to do, and just haven't had the resources to do. So that was really a wonderful thing to see. We also wanted to look at the best practices, and so Ms. Hughes and I went to Lake Orion for the Building Thinking Classrooms training. Mr. Webster and Mr. Olson went to the PBL research at the Clarkston Junior High, and we also researched other different schools in the state of Michigan. We did not find much unless the district was within the consortium of the math science centers. And trying to find STEAM at the high school level was very difficult. Junior high, middle school, even elementary, lots of STEAM programs, but there really isn't one that we could find at the high school level. Because of our research, when we were talking to Battle Creek, the director was talking to us and he said, you know, if you ever get a chance to go to High Tech High, that's the place to learn about what we're doing. And we hung up the phone, we started looking, and lo and behold, 2 weeks later, we were on a plane to do a 3-day training, and Courtney will tell you a little bit more about that.
So we had the wonderful opportunity to go to California and Chula Vista and San Diego to see the High Tech High campus. We were able to see their middle school, their high school, and their elementary school campus. And as you can see, we have some pictures up there. But some of the main things that we learned there were the essentials of creating a project-based learning curriculum. And that also included protocol. So having the students' expectations of activities, the project lessons, and everything in between, from starting the lesson with empathy. That was one of my biggest takeaways, was empathy is ingrained in the entire foundation of project-based learning. We learned about the entire process of project-based learning in terms of, I'll get to rapid ideation in a minute, but the rapid ideation was getting all of your ideas out there, working collaboratively with your team, allowing there to be like yes and protocols as well, but also being able to fine-tune all of the steps of the project-based learning process. And also, I mean, along with learning all of these amazing things that we can apply to our program, it was a fantastic team building opportunity for the 4 of us to go, and also Kelly Sinison. Some of the specific things that we wanted to take from California to CSM Tech was definitely the student impact statements that Kyle Hughes talked about earlier, that she mentioned earlier, but really learning about the student impact statements, because we were able to write educator impact statements. So that was something that we really wanted to ingrain into the beginning of the school year, where students were able to write their own impact statements. We can post it in CSM Tech. They take ownership over their goals for the year, and it's reminding them throughout the entire year. The lesson design, we want to obviously for sure ingrain the project-based learning into our CSM Tech program curriculum, because that is a student engagement. We're allowed to add community partners, and that was something that was really interesting, is because you can do projects all the time, but that civic component is really crucial to the foundation of project-based learning. It's how can you connect learning outside of the classroom. One thing as well that was project-based learning, another pillar of it, was making learning visible. How can the students see the other projects? How can you see the progression, the progress of, from start to finish, all the tools that are needed, all of the materials that were used for the project as well. And things that we learned just by going there was we were able to find small little things that we can incorporate into our classroom that weren't big projects, like maybe let's use Play-Doh to exemplify a specific visual idea, or let's maybe put sticky notes all over the entire wall just so that we can get all of our ideas out on paper, or a random generator of partners so that you're always with somebody new.
You can tell she's very excited about putting the A in STEAM. I just want to thank the board for the opportunity to send the whole team to San Diego. It would have been a completely different experience if only part of us went and came back and tried to show the rest of the team what we had done. The opportunity lent us to be able to go as a team and work together. After we left, we worked hours into the night just going over the things that we were introduced to day after day. And it's in every lunch conversation we have. This opportunity was just fantastic. I cannot overstate it. Some of the accomplishments that we've done so far this year, we've mentioned we've incorporated more project-based learning and vertical learning, which is the building thinking classrooms, into our daily lessons, seeing the value in these things and getting the students to collaborate and talk about those things. And also collaborating and getting information from our stakeholders. We found that one thing that we're definitely going to change is our first and second year program. We used to kind of split the curriculum between the first 2 years, and now we're going to streamline it, and we're going to have geometry and biology in the first year of the program, and then Algebra 2 and Chemistry in the second year of the program, which is going to allow for more students to enter the program at their appropriate levels where they're at in their curriculum. I already talked about that. Everything that we wanted to do so far and that we've proceeding to do, including even our mission statements, aligned with the district pillars. And just going through that high-tech high school, we can see all of our district pillars aligning with how they're doing things even over there, and we're seeing more and more the value of what we're able to do with our own students in the classroom as a result of this workshop and some of the research that we've done. As far as marketing and recruitment goes, just quick 5 steps, and we're going to elaborate on those, is we reevaluated the application process to allow for school choice and other students in the district. We started something called Early Action. We've already invited 136 qualified students, invite them to join us to see what CSM Tech is about. We've made videos, curriculum videos, and promo videos. We've increased our presence in social media, taking things we do in our classroom daily and posting them on Instagram. And one thing we're excited about is hosting all the 5th graders in the district for a science day at CSM Tech to see what our program is about. So even early on, we're getting out in the community. What is CSM Tech?
Tying this all together, we're moving forward. We want to build some momentum. Everything on the slide are new or improved. As Mr. Olson was just talking about, the early action, we did invite 136 students as of last week to come to CSM Tech on February 23rd for a field trip. All the board members are welcome to attend and come in and pop in and see what we're doing. We already have, these went out on Thursday, in the mail on Thursday, and we already have 10 students that have signed up to be there. So that's very exciting. Our application process has been streamlined to make sure that our due dates are open with the other application processes in Clarkston, as well as the scheduling window. We're trying to make sure that the students have what they need prior to scheduling to know. As Mr. Olson talked about, May of this year, we're going to invite all of the 5th graders over for a science day. You know, we found that in our research, most of our students didn't know about CSM Tech before they applied. They found out when we showed up over at the junior high, and we kept saying, why is that? Why, we have been here for over 15 years. Why doesn't anyone know who we are? I know we're in the basement downstairs and it's kind of quiet and we like that low profile, but we needed to really blow the doors off and let people know. So we came up with having a 5th grade science day where the kids will come over on a field trip, and what will happen that day, our goal is that they're going to go home and have conversations with their parents, and all we want them to do is keep saying CSM Tech. And so we're hitting the early action as well as these 5th graders. We hope in 3 years we're going to see a huge bump in our enrollment, because now people are talking about it. The other thing that we're going to do, we find that this year it might be a little bit too soon, but every spring we do a showcase for the students, and this is part of our recruitment program. We'd have a showcase, people would come in and they'd see these little projects, or the kids would present on some of the CSM Tech stuff, and it's our marketing tool. Instead, after coming back from California, we all looked at each other and went, we need to bump this up. And we want it to be a presentation of learning just like they do at High Tech High. And so our goal is next year in the spring, we will have, you know, a schedule where kids are presenting on certain times what their presentation of learning is about what they've been doing. And so we're super excited about that possibility. Moving forward on the structure, we've talked about a little bit. We look at all of our feedback from our stakeholders. We do the pluses and deltas to make sure that we're finding out if we're going in the right direction, meeting with Ms. Mahoney and our counselor and Ms. Sennison and Ms. Allen. We try to all get our feedback from them, as well as the students and the parents. We are looking to going back to the PM program, the tech block of 3 hours, so that we can really give that nurturing experience. And one of the things that we need to do is we are looking at what are the threads that spiral between our 4 years. And what I mean by that is we need to really break down how are we going to get a kid that's going to come in at 9th grade and want to stay through the whole process with technology, and how is that going to spiral through 4 years, and how is their research. We really want to, all 3 districts that we talk to virtually all have a research component and a community component in their program. How do we do that? We still aren't there yet. We're still looking at that, but we want to determine what those threads are that are going to make this important. As well as aligning with our mission statement. If something doesn't align, obviously we don't want to waste time on that. And we really want to make learning more visible. As it was brought up, everywhere you went at High Tech High, you could see all this stuff, and we don't want to be a High Tech High, we want to be our own program, but boy, do we want to take a lot of the things that they've done to improve on our own program. Moving forward with curriculum, we've already mentioned that we've already started implementing the problem-based learning and the building thinking classrooms. We really want to expand on that a little bit more and also incorporate new technologies and protocols. We're looking to require internships. It may not happen this year because we need to look at this and what our resources are in order to do this, but many years ago we highly recommended internships, and it was amazing what these students were able to do. We haven't had those resources to be able to do this, so we'd like to bring that back and make sure that that is there, as well as the research component we already mentioned. We already do co-curricular projects, but they're final exams. We want to be able to implement more of these co-curriculars. So across algebra and chemistry and the biology and the geometry, what can we do to pull those together more so that they're speaking the same language? Our partnerships with our community and participation is definitely something we want to increase and look at possibly talking to academic service learning and how can we be part of that and work with them. As well as physically, we want to go to Kalamazoo and Battle Creek. I know that they are two vastly different buildings and vastly different places. Kalamazoo is on the 3rd floor of an old building, and Battle Creek has a state-of-the-art, unbelievable building. So we want to go and see how are they using their spaces and what are they doing, and continue to look outside of Michigan and see what other programs are out there. At this time, the other thing that we want to do is we want to look at our physical space, and Courtney will talk more about that.
One of the biggest pillars of what we want to do to upgrade and update and revise our CSM Tech program is also to make the space welcoming and visually alluring for people like, oh, what is CSM Tech? What is that when I drive by the high school and by those tennis courts? What's going on there? So one thing that is the idea is in its infancy is having a mural, painting a mural, allowing the students to take ownership over that and maybe having them design it, allowing them to have a little bit of their own physical touch on the space that we have in the basement. The hallway displays, one thing that we had already mentioned earlier was that High Tech High, everywhere you went in their buildings had bulletin boards as their walls. There was not cement pillars, there was not drywall, it was all bulletin board. And that was where they were able to display the learning, display the progress, display everything that they were able to create with the students. And so one thing that we are looking to do is that in the future we want to, the long hallway in CSM Tech and all of the spaces that we have available, we want to make those bulletin boards, push pin boards, anything that we can have in rotation of progress, displaying of learning, making the learning visible, allowing the students' projects to be displayed so they can have pride in that as well. Vertical learning to align with the Building Thinking Classrooms initiatives is being able to have whiteboards everywhere, allowing the students to get up physically, write on the whiteboards, allowing them to see what other people are doing. So we're working on getting more whiteboards, and hopefully all 4 classrooms will be able to have whiteboards all over the place. And then also, like I said before, we have some rocks outside where people can drive by, and so we thought it would be a fun idea to maybe paint those rocks and allow the students to take ownership and maybe have some ideas of when they graduate, they can paint a rock or they can do something like that. So when people drive by, they can think, oh, it's not just a staff parking lot. It's a little bit more colorful and welcoming. So, bless you. Thank you. We wanted to thank you for the opportunity to share our progress with you this evening, and I would love to open it up for any questions.
Well, thank you very much. That was a wonderful presentation. This is such an excellent program, and the skills that you're teaching, they are so critically needed, desperately needed in society today. And the only thing we're lacking is more kids to be in the program. So I'm really happy to hear all of the thoughts and new ideas you have in terms of marketing. I'm confident that that's going to pay great dividends in the future, and we'll be able to share those opportunities with even more kids. So,
I just wanted to finalize in speaking to the Teaching and Learning Council, and that is we'll bring it to the team in the fall with some ideas that hopefully they'll approve and allow us to move forward, and then continue to update our council, and then with final approval of what this new and revised CSM Tech looks like following year. So I just felt like we need to do a lot of groundwork, a lot of research in terms of collaborating and what we want to bring, and so the goal is to bring some pretty stronger ideas to TLC in the fall.
Excellent. Mrs. Long?
Yeah, I have a few questions. First of all, I just wanted some clarification on this PM program. So when you say you want to kind of revert back to the tech block of 3 hours, is that, because if I recall, I think when we brought back afternoon last year, was it like 6th hour that was going to be kind of an open hour? Can you explain what you're kind of looking at for next year as far as the PM restructuring? And how has it been going with it being removed for a year and then being brought back?
So one of the things that we did in our research is the counselors interviewed students who were in the program, who had dropped the program, and one of the things we were focused on is what to do with that PM tech block because it was such an integral part before. As far as the teachers of the research goes, when we were looking at the other STEM schools, they all had a block component where they could do block of internships or blocks of research. One of the schools had that. Since COVID it went away, and they're looking forward to getting it back, trying to redesign to do that. The research from the counselor's viewpoint, looking at the students, the ones that were in the program, that was one of their favorite things of the program was that tech block. Having that block of 3 classes there and having that last block to choose the technology and being able to do internships those last 5 weeks of each semester. Those that had left the program, that was one of the things that they said they missed the most. And if they were to come back, that was one of the things they would definitely want to engage in. So looking outside of our program, that block was pretty integral into the STEM education experience. And looking internally as well, that was something the students really appreciated and enjoyed as part of the program as well. So bringing that back, again, we tried to do it this year without that, just having the classes 4th and 5th hour for the PM block, and it didn't work well. We were losing students. They were signing up to do other things. Some were like, well, I haven't got anything to do. What do I take? You know, why don't we have tech? So that's something that we really looked closely at, and with that research component that we did, exploring, you know, what was the need, did they like it, not like it, and what other schools were doing, we'd like to bring that back.
Okay, and can we? I mean, is that a for sure thing? Like we can tell students
That's
next
what we'd
year
like to
that.
move forward doing and let the students know that going to next school year, yes.
Okay, that'd be great. I would support that. And do you have any? I'm glad to see all these recruitment methods, especially the 5th grade and inviting people to the field trip. I think that's great. Do you have any initial projections or even guesses that, you know, we're going to see a 10% enrollment improvement next year? Are there any positive signs? I know it's early yet, but.
It's early. The first positive sign was today finding out that there were 10 people who already respond out of 136. That was amazing. And we still are going to have our regular open application process. I think the exciting thing is, and Miss Allen and I were talking about it before the meeting, is that when they come over next Friday, they're also going to get a CSM Tech t-shirt. We don't have CSM Tech t-shirts. We're going to give them all CSM Tech t-shirts so that they're going to be walking around marketing this program. It's going to create questions. I can tell you it's going to go up next year. I don't know what our projections are, but
Well, that's good enough right there.
We're so low right now.
Yeah.
It will go up.
Okay.
But we really can't, until we get our first round of applicants in, we don't know.
Okay.
I mean, we took a hit in the last 2 years with the changes
yeah.
that have occurred the last 2 years. So
Well, I
we
think
have
it's important for the board to just, for these parents and these students, I know Sean was leery a little bit about, you know, having a commitment of these afternoon classes for a certain number of years, but just knowing that we're bringing back the full tech block, the full afternoon program, and knowing it's going to be there for their child when they're 2 years ahead is really important, I think, so.
The exciting thing about the 5th grade process too is that, again, we're starting conversations 3 years before they even found out about it. So that marketing plan as well will give people those conversations, and it gives us a chance to really solidify what we're doing.
Yeah, I think that's really important to get that conversation started in 5th grade. And I like the forward thinking, that in 3 years we're going to be stronger and better than ever.
Agreed. Anything else? Mrs. McGinnis?
Number one, I love the greater insert of the A in STEAM. I think the visibility is something that the younger students are going to grasp onto that they didn't when it came to Team Rush itself. And Am I correct in thinking that the robots pretty much are only in that lower level of the building? The prior year robots are all downstairs, right?
So robotics is the after-school event. We do some units of robotics and drones within CSM Tech, but Team Rush and all of that is like
Much
varsity
more
football.
than that.
It's varsity football after school.
Gotcha. So it seems to me that I love the insert of the availability in the art of it. It would be nice if we had something as a takeaway for the fifth grade camp, like a sticker or a badge on their backpack that stays with them so that they're reminded every single day when they put that backpack on, kind of like a varsity jacket letter kind of thing. Because I think the more we keep the visibility of the program in the sight of our students, the greater chances our students are going to gravitate to it.
Absolutely, and something that we just talked about, we were ordering stickers for the kids that are coming over next week, so that they will have them in a bag when they leave. They're getting some good swag next week. But the whole key is for them to put them on their water bottles, their laptops, wherever, just because then people will say, what is this? And that was something that we wanted to make sure of. But I love the idea of getting more stickers for the fifth graders. That's a great idea.
Perfect. Thank you very much for everything you're doing.
Anything else from anybody? All right, thank you again very much. It was a very good presentation.
Nice job.
Moving on, we have several action items this evening. Item 6.1, approval of personnel changes. May I have a motion, please?
I move the Board of Education approves personnel changes as listed on the attached sheets as presented.
Motion made and supported. Mr. Lucido is here with any questions. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 6.2 is approval of the letter of agreement with the Clarkston Education Association and the calendar revision. May I have a motion, please?
I move the Board of Education approves the letter of agreement with the Clarkston Education Association and the revised 24-25 calendar as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Mr. Lucido, if you could perhaps just give for the benefit of the public, a quick summary of what we're voting on tonight.
Sure. There's two things in that motion. The first is the prohibitive subjects of bargaining become effective on February 14th. We had a letter of understanding in the back of our collective bargaining agreement that was to be implemented upon its passing. We got together with our Clarkston Education Association and changed some of those terms, as some of it is not relevant anymore to our current practices, and that is what we agreed upon. The other changes to the calendar, the county gave us two choices for spring break. The original calendar that was approved as part of our collective bargaining agreement, with our last collective bargaining agreement, had spring break the first week in April. This is moving it to the last week in March, which is consistent with the other Oakland counties and our Oakland County Tech campus.
Great, thank you. And that is the next year's calendar, not
This is for
year's calendar.
24-25, not this year, correct.
Any questions or comments on the motion?
I guess I just
Mrs.
wanted to
Love?
make a comment about, this is because of the law changes that have happened with the new regime in Lansing. So, voting for this doesn't necessarily mean that we're supportive of these changes, but we have to be in compliance with the law.
Exactly. Seeing no other comment, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lucido. Item 6.3 is approval of the computer shared service purchase. May I have a motion, please?
I move the Board of Education approves the purchase of 70 Dell Latitude 3140 computers in the amount of $34,672.40 as part of our shared services agreement as presented.
Support.
You can pick one.
Doesn't matter.
Motion made and supported. Any comments or questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 6.4 is approval of the flooring projects at the middle school and elementary schools. May I have a motion, please?
I move the Board of Education approve the flooring contract listed in the listed for the district-wide HVAC and hardware improvements bid to Shock Brothers Floor Covering in the amount of $57,600.
Motion made and supported.
Support? Did
There
I
was
hear
support, right?
Sorry.
Ms. Seibert supported. Comments or questions on the motion?
Yeah, I had a question for Wes Goodman. Just wondering, it just seems kind of the trend lately that we're only getting one bid for these projects, and I trust that this is a good one. I just would like to see bidding wars or just other options. And can you just help me understand why we don't get more?
I'll try.
Yeah.
We would love to see more as well. So this was bid twice. It was bid with the HVAC project that you saw earlier and approved, and we didn't bring that because we didn't have a bid on the original bid day, and then we went out to bid again, and we received one bid. We advertised those in our local paper. We put them on our website. We put them in Sigma, which is a state website that sends out to all bidders in the state. And then, of course, we have AUK here tonight as well, which we're going to have with our presentation later, that reach out to all of their contacts. I think in this one in particular, it's for patches to the project, which means it's not a full room. It's taking that HVAC unit ventilator out, plugging a new one, and where we have to patch around any kind of repairs, not really repairs, but any kind of things that we had to move. If a piece of casework had to be moved to make room for this bigger unit, and it's in, as you know, we're doing 200 of these units over 2 summers. So it's a lot of moving. Not a real desirable job for a carpet layer and a tile, so I think that was probably a big piece of it. I do believe when we bring the junior high bid results, we'll see a lot more bidders. But more than anything, and Danielle may have can help if you'd like, but I know that she reached out to all the usual bidders along with all those advertisements. So I would say that was kind of a unique, not a real glamorous job. I think that's probably the gist of it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Goodman. Anything else? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Goodman. Item 6.5 is approval of MASB board candidate. Clarkston Community Schools is part of Region 8 for the Michigan Association of School Boards. They have an election for a member to represent Region 8 as a 3-year term. There were 3 candidates that have filed for that position. The Board of Education needs to approve this month a candidate for that board election. So with that, I would ask if anyone has a motion.
I move that the Board of Education approves Burgett and Quiston as the candidate that we select for the MASB Region 8 Board of Directors seat.
Second.
Their support? Motion made and supported. Ms. McQuiston is an incumbent on the board, and she is a member of the Lake Orion School Board. Any comments or questions on the motion? Yes, Mrs. Crane.
I made the motion because for a few reasons. I've worked with Ms. McQuiston on the CSBA Board of Directors as well. She's done a fabulous job, I believe, on the MASB board in her 3 years. She's a stellar Lake Orion School Board member. I also was able to watch the forum that OCSBA hosted, and that left zero doubt in my mind that she is the right one for us to support.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of supporting Ms. McQuiston as our candidate, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. And we will forward that information to MASB. Item 6.6 is a second reading and approval of several bylaws and policies. These were brought forward last month for first reading. We can have a single motion that approves all of them if the board is so inclined. And with that, I would ask for a motion, please.
I move that the Board of Education approves the revisions to Bylaw 0122 and policies 1420, 3130, 3131, 3139, 3140, 3142, and 3220 as presented.
Motion made and supported. Mrs. McGinnis is a chair of policy committee. I believe there were no feedback or comments after first reading. Is that correct?
Correct. These all are revisions in response to legislative changes to the Public Employment Relations Act, known as PERA, and there are changes that are related to this revised school code, which we must abide by.
Comments or questions for Mrs. McGinnis or on the motion?
Just same disclaimer as before, don't necessarily support these changes, but we have to be compliant with the new law.
Exactly. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We have no report items tonight. We have two discussion items. Item 8.1, as Mr. Goodwin alluded to a moment ago, is going to be our bond update. And I would ask Mr. Goodwin to come up and introduce his colleague and then give us an update, please.
Thank you. So, thank you all, Matt. This is Advisor. He's our architect at GMB, architects and engineers. We have Danielle Eschner. She is our project lead with Hawk Construction. So we're going to go through tonight. We have another update to our playbook of really the junior high design, and we're going to kind of walk you through a lot more pictures and elevations, a little bit easier to show how the building's coming along, and then we're going to talk about how we're going to put it all together once it's out to bid and we start construction. So feel free to stop and ask any questions you may have. Really coming along, and we're excited for it. So I'm going to have Mitchell start, and then we'll go on to Dave.
Thank you, Wes. Thank you all for your time this evening. It's been so exciting. On behalf of all the architects and engineers from our firm, putting a lot of hours for this project, we're really excited to be a part of it. And also thanks to all of the Clarkston District staff and administration members who have also put a lot of time into helping some of these projects, these meetings, and these site decisions. And it is a lot of work to get this together, and we are grateful for everyone's input so far. So, okay, thank you. The slide up on the screen right now just gives you an overview of the phases of design. I think we've showed this at our past updates to you as well. Right now we are into the implement phase in industry lingo, that's known as construction documents. And so what that really means is we are beyond the point of making most of the design decisions, and our attention has focused to putting the drawings and specifications together that we need to hand out to contractors to put their bids together. So we're in the last leg of putting together the technical documents needed to go out to bid for the project. Up on the screen is now the overall site plan for the junior high project. I don't think I have a mouse, or maybe I have a pointer that I can talk through everything on this, but thank you. But numerous improvements here on how people will enter and exit the site compared to the current layout. So currently everyone comes in up that main drive. Parents, buses, staff, everybody comes up that way. We are splitting up that traffic with the new design. So now she's highlighting the entrance off of East Lawn. That will be for staff and buses. And so buses will pull up along that side of the building to drop students in the morning, pick them up in the evening, and that will also be the staff parking lot. And then down along the bottom side of the building, entering in off of Walden and Middle Lake, will be two separated drop-off loops. So again, we're splitting up the traffic into as many separate feeds as possible to help minimize the amount of congestion that happens on the site, while still maintaining access around the building, accommodating events, and all the other activities that happen on this site from the elementary school and athletics as well. There will be improvements out on Walden Road as well, so that road is getting widened for a small portion along in front of the elementary school to provide for an extended left-hand turn lane into both the main entry into the campus and also at East Lawn, again to help alleviate any concerns of traffic issues out on that road. Here's the overall floor plan, which we have shown you in the past. Again, not much has changed here from the overall layout. If you'd like me to walk you through it individually, I can, but again, this is really much unchanged since the last presentation. And here's the second floor of the building as well. So then this brings us into some more of the updated exterior views. So you can feel free to flip through these. So this first image is taking from the main entry approach towards the new junior high facility. Right in the middle you see the parent drop-off zone and also the main student entry of where that sidewalk approaches the building. To the left are the classroom wings, and then further towards the back of the image are the athletics and then the performing arts center. Kind of off in that back corner there. This is a closer view as you're approaching that front door. Again, we'll have parent drop off right along the curb, and this is the main entry to the school that parents will approach really every day. Those windows up at the top corner are into the auxiliary gym, and then the large windows kind of next to the main entry is the office area. Again, there'll be great visibility out of the office towards guests and staff approaching. This view takes us a little bit further along the face of the building, where you can really see where the existing Performing Arts Center will meet up against the new gymnasium. We have been considering that more of an athletic or an event entry, so we have that large C on the wall to kind of highlight that entry space. And again, the Performing Arts Center's entry will remain as it is now, so that is untouched as part of this project. And then just a slightly more close-up view of that. That will also be used as the Middle Lake drop-off zone for parents. So that is part of the drop-off loop for people coming from the Middle Lake direction. Walking around the building a little bit, this is a view of the classroom wing. It is 2 stories tall. You have the standard classrooms along the side, and then at the end are the science classrooms stacked on top of each other. And then just a note, in the kind of the notch at the end of the wing, that's an intentionally planned space, so should any additions need to go onto this building in the future, we have spots to accommodate that at all 4 corners of the classroom wings for a total of at least 8 classrooms that could be added on in the future quite readily. This is taking our views around the exterior of that classroom wing, seeing it from the other side, and then off to the left you're seeing the single-story height of the special education classroom wing area. So then this takes us back around to the staff parking and bus drop-off. So this view is on the bus drop-off loop, looking towards the bus entry at the end of the classroom wing. And then this is a view more directly looking at the bus entry, or student entry from the bus drop-off, and also looking down into the courtyard between the classroom wing and the media center space. So again, that will be a great outdoor learning space for students within the building. And here's a closer-up view of that space. You can see through the glass at the back a view into kind of the main commons of the school, which you'll see from the inside in a few slides. But again, a great learning space for the project. And this is a view of what will become the freestanding career technical education building. So this is where they will enter off of the staff parking lot from that. So this, we are adding some exterior walls to this building because we're tearing down the existing junior high and we'll be refacing the portions that where the demolition occurred to create a new exterior wall of the building. So it becomes freestanding when all said and done. All right, so then taking us into the interior, back around to the main entry. This is the main reception desk. Everyone will see when they come in each day. This is a view of that learning commons that we talked about. The large glass wall to the right has the view out to the courtyard, and there's the learning stair which takes you up to the second level of the classroom wing. So this is looking towards the classroom wing inside the building. This is a view of an extended learning area inside the classroom wing. So if you recall in the floor plan from when I shared it in the past, each wing is divided into neighborhoods with some classrooms off of it, and this is the shared common space of each of those neighborhoods. So this is the breakout space where staff can expand out of their classroom and utilize this space for teaching and learning as well. A view of some of the typical classrooms in that wing. There is an operable partition between classrooms to allow those to open up to create bigger spaces if needed. So this is showing 2 classrooms with that partition opened up. There'll be a lot of flexible furniture, flexible and mobile casework, again to support the teaching and learning environment desired by the school. This is a view of the project room, which is one of the shared spaces in the middle of each neighborhood. This is intended for messy work. This is intended for project-based work. So we have the infrastructure here, sinks, power cables, a floor that can get cleaned up if things get messy to support those kind of activities. And then a view of a typical science lab as well. Again, there'll be one of those in each neighborhood, total of 8 in the building. And this is a view from the top of the learning stair, looking back down into that main common space. And we'll be headed out towards the media center and the rest of the building next. Yeah, so here's the media center or learning commons. I believe we shared this image last time. Those large windows on the left look out into that courtyard space. And again, a very flexible space to accommodate all the needs of the building. This is moving more towards the cafeteria. This building is divided into 2 different levels. So there's the lower level, and then we go up about 5 feet to match up with the level that's at the top of the ramp currently at the PAC. And so this is the stair that gets you up to that upper level, and it's also the open cafeteria seating area. It provides kind of the heart of the circulation of the building. It connects the fine arts wing on the one side back to the academic wing on the other. Another view of that space. The stairs that you see in the picture take you to the upper level of the gymnasium and the running track. And so the gym is just to the right in this picture. Just wanted to highlight an area for legacy of what this building is. So we have what we're calling a legacy wall, where we will save some mementos and items from the old junior high and preserve them for the future. Here's a view inside that main gym. It is a 3-station gym, so there'll be 3 cross courts with the main competition court in the middle, very similar to the high school, and it will have a running track around the top. This is a view of the auxiliary gym, so the secondary gym space with those large windows in the corner that you saw in the exterior views of the main entry. View of the fitness center. And a view of the band room, which is very typical of the music rooms that are getting provided in this new edition as well. The design of this is based on the band room addition at the high school that happened a few years ago as part of the last bond. And then this is a view, I think it's the final view we have in the set, of the existing ramp outside of the Performing Arts Center. And we have kind of created a place of privilege for those 3 existing murals that are in the building that are getting saved, and putting them somewhere where they can be displayed and shared with everyone, so they're not getting lost as part of the demolition process. So any questions or thoughts maybe on the design or concept of the building before we get into construction phasing and how this is all going to happen?
I have two notes. One is parking spaces. Are we increasing or staying the same with the parking spaces with the renovations?
We are staying the same.
Okay.
So we're providing the same amount of spaces you have now.
And you made a comment about the potential of possible 8 additional classrooms or so. I'm curious what the core capacity this building is being built at.
I have that number, but not at the tip of my tongue, so I can get that response back.
So
to you.
I would assume that
The
the core capacity is
built
not
to serve those
exceeded with the 8
classrooms.
additional classrooms.
Yes, that is correct.
Those are my only questions.
Yes, good question. We talked a lot about that. You know, are we going to add this, and the cafeteria is going to be too small, or the gymnasium, and that they're definitely large enough to support more classrooms.
It's just when you were part of building the high school, and we know what we did there, a 2,500 capacity for the central capacity of the building, and the possibility to add on too. So it's just something that always sticks in my head. So I appreciate the number, just knowing it in the future.
Yeah, we can get that for sure.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, I'm going to have Danielle show us, basically explain the phasing, how this is going to be done, and I'm sure she'll have more details in that. But we have kind of a nice drawing of what's happening in phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, which those phases are will be discussed in years as well. So, thank you.
Good evening. Danielle Eschner, Senior Project Manager with AUK. So Mitch got to show you all the pretty pictures. Now I get to show you how we're going to do it. As you all know, this is going to be a phased project. So it'll go over 4 years. So we'll start this coming summer, 2024, going through 2028. So up on the screen right now, the yellow highlighted area, that's your existing building as it sits. Where the dashed line is will be phase 1. And the phase 1 of this project is going to be the new gym. So we'll construct that new gym in that main entry courtyard area. Also along with that, during next summer, we'll also be replacing the existing grass turf with field turf. And that will allow for practices and such to go on as we're building and as we're taking up more of the site as we move around. So once phase 1, the gym is completed, we'll move on to phase 2. Phase 2 consists of, as you see, a portion of the building is now gone, and that's the existing gym area. So phase 2 will start by tearing down that existing gym and then move to building the new classroom, the 2-story classroom wing. And I believe the next slide shows the 2-story classroom wing. So that'll be constructed. Once that's constructed and we're able to occupy that area, we will move to demolish the existing classroom area. And with that, we'll be constructing the new cafeteria and servery and kitchen area. So that's kind of where the dashed line is up there. That'll be that new area. And the existing yellow area will remain occupied. Now, along with this phase 3 is also the CTE renovation. So obviously we'll be segregating that portion of the building from the existing building, and then, like Mitch showed in the renderings, creating the new exterior wall to make that a freestanding building. That'll be also with phase 3. And then phase 4 is the fine arts and STEM classrooms. So again, there'll be demolition of the existing building that remains in that area. and we'll be building the new fine arts and STEM classrooms as part of Phase 4. And again, the dates are up there. Phase 1 is 2024 to 2025, Phase 2, 2025 to 2027, and then Phase 3 will be 2027 to 2028, and then Phase 4 will be completed in 2028. So what you see up on the screen here is the final building, and as you see, the auditorium area of that building remains yellow because that is an existing part of the building. Any questions on that? I know I went kind of quick through that phasing.
Any questions?
Can you just, it's just
Yeah.
the years of each phase.
The years of each phase. So Phase 1 is going to be 2024, that's okay, 2024 to 2025. Phase 2 will be 2025 through 2027. Phase 3 will be 2027 to 2028. And then Phase 4 will start and finish in 2028. Yes.
Any other questions or comments? I know Mr. Heyer and Mrs. Crane are on our bond implementation committee. Do you have anything that either one of you would like to add? Okay. Very good.
And then we do
Anything
have
else?
we have a final slide up here to kind of give you an update on the rest of the bond work that's going on. You want me to go do this, or go ahead?
Yeah, okay. I'll go with this one.
Okay. I can go.
So you're going to see us for the next 3 months in a row. We'll be back in March to do Bid Pack 1, which includes the turf at the football field, and a chiller package. But the chiller package is really a pre-purchase of the equipment, more for lead time. We need to make sure that we have that. So we'll buy that. We'll bring that for approval. But the contractors who will install that will come at a later date. We don't know who those are, but really we're just buying that piece of equipment. We're putting it out to bid just again to there's quite a long lead time on production of those. And then so that's in March, and then in April we're going to come back to you with the site and foundation contracts, and those are basically again to get those contractors rolling, get all their submittals in, and get that a little earlier. We weren't able to get all the bids, the whole construction documents ready. That's why we're bringing these kind of in phases. It shouldn't hurt anything. We know we're confident on how we're doing it. It's again that bid package is so that they can start the work in June, soon as school's out. So the foundation work is big to keep us on target to get that new gym ready for 2025. Because again, our 2025 summer is going to be taking down the old gym, so we have to really make sure that the new gym is ready to go. And then bid package 3 is really the main building. That will be everything from the rest of what you saw tonight. So to build the entire building. So that will come again in May, and then we have a picture here of the turf, just kind of give you an idea. It's going to be real similar to what we've done at the high school with the sea and the wolves, and just kind of give you an idea what that's going to look like at the stadium. And then we were in front of you in November for the HVAC projects and door hardware. Just a reminder, Phase 1 is this summer for Andersonville, Clarkston, North Sash, and Sash Middle. That's their conditioning, replacement of the univentilator, and adding coils to our air handlers. And then at the same time, we're working on the door hardware project, which is going to be ongoing with all schools. So that's the quick thumb turns for all the classrooms and the indicators. And then also in this summer, as soon as school's out, mostly because of the time to do the work, is the new front doors at the high school. So those will all be replaced and ready to go in the fall. It will be completed probably in June, we're hoping, but there's really not a big enough window for us to do it any sooner than when school gets out. So that's pretty much the project update. So you will see us again for the next 3 board meetings, and then we'll give you updates on how things are going future from there. But these are long time in the making.
The air conditioning for the other Phase 2 elementary schools will be 2025?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so it'll all be done by the end of next summer. Anything else? All right, well, we look forward to seeing you for the next several months. Thank you for all your hard work. We appreciate everything that your team has done, so we'll see you soon. Item 8.2 is our discussion of bond budget parameters. You have received the spreadsheet, and Mrs. Rogers is going to take us through this, and Mr. Lucido.
Okay, I'm going to go through the board affordability model of where we're at right now, and we're asking for your input. These are all administrative recommendations, and I'm going to go through each section or topic, and then before we move on to the next one, I just want to make sure you're okay with what we've said in that particular topic. So we start with the first list of assumptions, which is the student count. This is a blend, so that's why it looks a little wonky, but we get a 90% in the fall, and then we get 10% the prior year, prior school year in February is how they calculate our. So basically, we're looking at 24-25 is what we're really looking at. And we're saying it's going to be a blend of 87 loss. And in that 87 loss is 100 student enrollment, open enrollment increase, and a 50 student loss for our Clarkston students. And the reason you see this loss of 87 is because we still have to feel this February 24, the RVS elimination. It's still going to have to hit us. We're going to hit 10% of that, and that was a large loss. So it was like 900 students. So basically, that's what we're asking there is 100 open enrollment increase, K-5, and then 50 student loss for the Clarkston students. And then
Just to clarify, that's 50 increase from the current 50, correct?
yes. Well, we currently have been doing 43. Yep, so yeah, just a little over 50 increase. We've been doing 43 for the early childhood and kindergarten, or K-5, right? Or not K-5, it was the kindergarten programs.
Kindergarten.
And then 25, 26, same thing. We're asking for a we're recommending the administrative group, a 50 student loss for the Clarkston kids and 100 open enrollment K-5. Do you have any questions, or maybe you want clarification of why 50 student loss or anything like that? Or are you good with these numbers?
I think we're good, so you can move on.
Okay, so the next line just tells you what that's going to be, the blended 90-10. So we'll move to shared services, which right there, we're just asking for the 10% cap that we're allowed. So that's the 20, we're currently at 1848 FTE for this school year. We're asking to go to the 10% cap of 2150 FTE, and then in 25-26 to project out 2368 FTE. So we're just going to say we're going to continue to grow at the 10%.
And that 2150 FTE is the total, right?
That is the total shared service FTE that we get our foundation allowance on.
And that 6687 is the blended count, or is that the total?
That's just Clarkston in the open enrollment numbers. That doesn't have the shared service in it.
But that's the total FTE. That's not a blended count.
That's a blended.
It is blended.
90
But for shared service, it is or is not blended.
No, I don't have that.
Okay.
I just have that as a full amount. Sorry. Yep, you're correct. So that's our shared service. That's pretty self-explanatory. Is an administrative recommendation. We've been pretty aggressive, and we can't grow any more than the 10% for funding reasons. We can grow more, but we won't get more funding than that. So any questions on the shared services? Then the benefit changes, we're asking for the assumption of 5% in the next 2 years after we get past 23, 24. Retirement rate changes, just asking for 0 because the state has, when they've been increasing our rate, they've been giving us the offset revenue for it. So we haven't had like they've been pretty much budget neutral when it comes to the retirement. And then the state funding changes, we are going to 241 because that's what the governor came out with. It was a little disappointing. We thought it would be a little higher than that. It's considered a 2.5% increase. But yeah, 241, and because of that, we went with 200 for 25 as an administrative recommendation for 25-26. And then, so that would put us at, we're currently at 9,608 per pupil. That would put us at 9,849 per pupil. And if we got the 200 in 25-26, we're right now working with 10,049 for the foundation allowance. That's the best we have now. You know, it goes through the whole budgeting legislative process where now they'll go to committee. The Senate will come out with theirs. The House will come out with theirs. But it's usually pretty close to what the governor says. It may be, foundation allowance might be a little higher, but she might take from somewhere else. They might take from somewhere else. I did increase, but you can't really see it in the categorical state funding because it's one line item up there in the revenue, that -69, because I had to take a lot of one time out. The governor's budget does have a 2.5% increase in special education, at-risk, ELL, and CTE, and that adds up to about $200,000 for the district if that goes through. And that's commingled in that negative $6.96 million. It's in that formula. So that's what we're looking at for assumptions to start to build the 24-25 budget. And I will be bringing at the March board meeting the first amended budget. And due to all the one-time funding that we were not expecting that we got this year, it will be probably pretty close to a balanced budget, or it will be a balanced budget, where right now you have a deficit budget approved from June.
Comments from board members on the assumptions as recommended by the administration?
I would say
Mr.
that
Heyer.
the parameters are okay right now. I think as we get in and talk about specifically what we want to do with enrollment and specific programs, I think we might want to tweak that. But for right now, I think these assumptions are solid.
Yeah,
I'm
I would agree.
assuming
Mrs.
that-
McGinnis?
Go ahead, Amanda.
Oh, I was just
Oh, I'm
saying.
sorry, Mrs. Long.
I was just saying, I'm assuming that the 25-26 increase of 200 is like conservative, right?
We went with the 200 because of her 241.
Yeah.
There's concerns out there, a lot of talk that the years of the 400 are not going to be there for a while anymore. But maybe that can change. But
Sure.
that's the word on the street right now, is that we're going to see more in the 200s.
Mrs. McGinnis?
I would just agree with Mr. Heyer here, because, of course, this is just a work in progress.
Yes.
As we all know. You know, we're trying to guess what tomorrow will bring and what next month and what next year will bring. Luckily, we have, a good handle on our strategic plan and what it is we want for our students. But depending on what our legislature does is really what handicaps us in being able to do that. So I appreciate all the work that's gone into this so far, but I think that we need to keep our eye on the ball and just keep a close handle to it to make sure that any changes in policy at the state and how it affects us are managed appropriately.
Yes.
Thank you, Mrs. McGinnis.
They wanted me to share another document with you, or no? Okay. Okay, they're good. I guess you don't need the other document.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lucido and Mrs. Rogers. We appreciate that. We seem to be all of a consensus for the time being to adopt these as a valid list of assumptions going forward. Item 9 is the second opportunity for citizens' comment. Are there any citizens that wish to address the board on any topic? Seeing none, our information items. Item 10.1, the Clarkston High School musical, The Addams Family, is this weekend, Thursday through Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 2 p.m. Midwinter break, no school for staff or students, Monday, Tuesday, February 19th and 20th. There is no school for students on Friday, March 8th for our Professional Learning Day. And our next Board of Education meeting will be here in the boardroom Monday, March 11th at 7 p.m. Our next item is a closed session for negotiations discussion. We will take no action following that except to adjourn. So at this point, I would entertain a motion to move into closed session for the purpose of discussion of collective bargaining matters.
I move that we move into closed session for the purposes of
Collective bargaining negotiations discussion.
collective bargaining negotiations discussion.
It's a mouthful, I know. Is there support?
Support.
This requires a roll call vote. Mrs. Allen, could you please call the roll on this?
Mrs. Cybers? Yes. Mr. Need?
Yes.
Mrs. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mrs. Love?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes.
Motion carried. We will proceed to closed session with our canine accompaniment.
Well done.